then I'm also going to send you 2 manuals that go over what we're doing today too, so you have step by step too. Okay. So, and stop anytime with questions. So, the number one thing that I think is important for site administrators to understand, and you are a site administrator, and we can look at who the site administrators are. In fact, let's do that. So under site administration, we can go under users and permissions. And then under here, it'll say site administrators. And any of these people right now are site administrators. I would keep this one from eClass for Learning because that allows us to come in and help, especially if there's an emergency.
Okay.
Yeah, but let's see, is Ashley still one that should be a site administrator?
I don't think Ashley, I mean, she's my coworker, but I don't think really at this point, I mean, I don't think she would, I mean, I don't know. I guess we can talk about it and see if that's really what she would need. Because, like I said, her and I pretty much work as you know, we're always together.
Sure.
So I don't know. I mean, is there a is it a bad thing to have too many? I guess is a good question.
Yeah, 20 would be too many because.
No, I'm saying is there too many, not 20.
Yeah, this looks like a doable list. What you have to think through is that whoever is a site administrator has ultimate rights, you know, so just know that. If you ever want to add or remove somebody to remove them, you would click here and click remove. To add them, you would find the person. So I don't know. And there aren't any with Tammy. Okay, but you would search down here, they would show up here, and you would click add. So that's all you have to do. I would leave Kaltura support. You guys use Kaltura as your video, and it is kind of complicated, and sometimes their technicians have to come in and look at their plugins and so on. So that's not a bad one either. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where you find them. And a site administrator will have this block on the side, and they will have, these are all the site administration tools, many of which we'll go over today. If they're just a student, they don't see this. They don't get all, or a teacher wouldn't. Now, with blocks, you can dock them. And when I click dock, it goes off to the side. And I always like to dock my admin block. It's just me, but everybody's got their own style.
Right.
When we go home, I'm just going to caution you on one thing so we can see what a teacher would see. So let's say I was a teacher and we'll go into a course. We'll just pick this. And let's say you were helping this teacher with this course, okay? And we go under admin. Now, the teacher has course admin rights. So they see that, but you see everything because you're a site admin.
Oh, okay.
And your site admin is under here. And the reason I always start my training explaining that is because when I was first learning, I would get these two confused.
And I could see how that would easily happen.
Yeah, and so it's really good to ask yourself this question when you're working on something. Is this something I want to affect the entire site or just a certain course? And then make sure that you're under the right one, because a lot of these are the same, like reports for the course versus reports for the site.
Oh,
and there's a funny story. When I was first learning on one of our sites, I thought I was changing the theme in a course, because you can do that.
No.
And I changed the whole theme of the entire site. And Connie, that works with me, called me and said, "Were you doing something on the site?" And I was like, "I don't think so." And I had done it under appearance here. And so it's just really good to know, okay, because when you're a site administration, you have rights to everything.
Gotcha.
And teachers only see this, so they can only affect their course, but you
Gotcha.
can affect everything. So that can be confusing, knowing which is which. And most of
Okay.
what we'll be doing in this training is going to be the site stuff,
Okay.
but it can get a little bit crazy at times. Okay, so you're very interested in the look and feel of your Moodle site. And so that's going to be a site decision, and that's under appearance. And the first thing we'll look at is themes, and we'll look at the theme settings. That's a good thing for us to look at. So theme designer mode, you typically want to leave unchecked. That makes the site move much slower. So usually we don't do that. Right now, you have it so that the user could set up their own theme. Do you want them to be able to do that?
Okay, where is that one again?
So on my screen, it says allow user themes. And
so that would be like any user or just like the course manager? Okay.
I would, usually we have that unchecked because you're putting all this work into putting your branding and stuff, and usually you would want that on every course, I think.
Yes, I would agree.
So I would uncheck that.
Yeah.
And just so you know, in Moodle, I also used to overthink this when I was first starting. If it's checked, that means it's enabled. If it's unchecked, it's not enabled. I used to do this reverse logic saying if the default is no, then check means yes. And in this case, it does. But it's not that smart. This is just what it came out of the box as. And then, just so you know, and then if it's checked, it's on. If it's unchecked, it's not on. So I used to drive myself a little crazy, and I didn't need to. So now you also have checked course themes. So the course designer could have a whole different theme than the site. I kind of not sure that you want that either.
Yeah, because I think the main thing is just their material or their content.
Right. And you want the osmre banner and everything.
Yeah.
So a lot of this might have been left over for Veronica and what she had set. So it's good that we go through them and set them up the way you want to.
Yes.
Now you could have category themes. Like we do use this with one client, UW-Madison, and in the nursing department, they have different categories. They have courses for geriatric nurses versus school nurses, and they have like a different logo for each kind of nurse. So each category, all the courses that are for geriatric nurses have a geriatric logo. I don't think you are going to have categories like that, are you, where they're going to have different themes?
Well, I mean, like some of our, I can say, I don't know if this would be in the same realm as that, but I know like, we have like little emblems or something. I don't even know if you call them emblems, but like our different classes, like they have like a little symbol for different kinds of classes. Would that be what would be used there, or is that no? Am I thinking something different?
Say that one more time.
So like if you go to our tips training catalog, like each class has like a little symbol for like different classes. Like the GIS class would have like a different symbol than like the hydrology class. Would that be what you're?
It'd be a little different.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah, it would be a whole different theme. So like if I show you UW-Madison once. Let's go to theirs. Now the back end looks like a universal theme, but only we see that. Students don't see it.
Yeah.
What happens for students is if they are in a geriatric nurse, they go directly to their courses and they look like this.
Okay.
And if they're a school nurse, they go to their courses and they look completely different. And
It's just a completely different look altogether.
a whole different theme.
Oh, okay, gotcha. No, I don't think we wouldn't need that. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't think you do either. I don't think you want this. This means that people in the URL could put a different theme. Maybe I'll leave it on because I think maybe Floyd used this when he gave you a different link, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'll leave that for him. That's how he did that. Do you want people to be able to hide blocks? So we were able to dock this block, right? But hiding it causes a problem, I think. Hiding it, like everybody gets this navigation and they could dock it, but they can also hide it right now. And the reason I would recommend not hiding it is people that are less technical might do that.
Well, I was getting ready to ask. I was like, how would you find it? Because I'm less technical.
Then they call you and say, I can't find my navigation block. So
I would be one of those people.
So I think I would just take that off from them. Then they won't have this.
Okay.
Are you okay with them docking the block? I think that's kind of nice.
Yeah, that's fine.
Then they can have more real estate if they want it. Okay, these will stay in. That stuff Floyd's put in special for you. This would stay in because that's special that Floyd put in you. And enable device detection, we definitely want that. So it knows what kind of device you're using and it automatically syncs to that device the right size. So we want
nice.
So we'll save those changes. It's good that we're going through the settings
because
somebody else set these up. And then I want to go back to appearance. So those were the overall theme settings. Now comes the theme selector. Okay. And right now you use a clean theme. I think what Floyd is doing is the essential theme, which is pretty blank but allows him to program more. Okay. And when you do that, he would have gone to change theme, and then he could have chosen from these, and I think he used essential and then programmed from there. We're not going to do that today because we don't want to mess it up while people are using it. And when we're ready, he's going to change it to the essential that he set up once you've approved everything.
Okay.
And then when you go under essential, these are all the things that Floyd is able to change. And one of the reasons we like essential is it has so much that you can customize. Not all themes do. And so Floyd's doing a lot of this work, but this is where he put your logo, for instance. I'm not going to go through all of this. Like you can have a favicon, which he put in. This is his custom CSS that he put in. The fact that it allows you to do that is nice. For features, he's really good at this, so I would just leave what he has. But this is where,
like I said, I have no idea about this stuff.
Yeah.
The foreign language.
And then color. These are the colors of the new theme that he's using that we don't see right now because you'd have to be at that link because it isn't the chosen one. And that's how he could change them. So you can, what the header says. So he's got, this is what the header will say up here with the tips. He has what size it's going to be, what colors to use. There's just tons of things that he can customize, which is really, really nice. And then you've got the fonts, the footers. The front page is really good for you to know, too. This is where some of your marketing will go. And I don't know, is he using a slider on yours? Do you know?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah, then I won't get into that too much because we don't know. But this is once what you do is you go to Appearance, Themes, Essential once it's live, and you can
Okay.
change things there. I probably wouldn't do it without Floyd though because it's easy
Yeah.
and I don't want to mess up his stuff. Now, there's more you can do with the front page too. I think, when you were asking about changing Veronica's name and stuff, the reason you couldn't find where that was is it wasn't a course, it was in front page settings most likely, or
Gotcha.
the theme.
Yeah.
So here is like what the name of the site is. So if you ever wanted to change that,
Okay.
the front page we're going to see how it says home here, but you could
Mhm.
change that and type in what you wanted. It says this at the very beginning, so if you ever wanted to change that there. I think it had Veronica's name here, and this is where he changed it.
Yeah.
Then under here, you can have on your front page kind of programmed in here from a pull-down list of what you want. So you have your courses and categories, which is cool. And so it shows a list of categories. They can click on it and then see the courses in that category and click on it. And you also have a search box right underneath it. Your options are you could have news items. You could have just a straight list of courses, not in categories. You could have your categories. You could have a combo list, which has both the categories and then the courses underneath, and the search box. And you can decide what order, like right now you just have these two showing.
Right.
And this would be the front page before you're logged in. And this would be after you're logged in. So it could be different too.
Gotcha. Okay.
So let's just look at your front page. Let's just go home and see what it looks like right now. You have them exactly the same, but you have your course categories. And then when you click on them like that, and then they show the courses in here. So that's definitely one way you could do it. If we go to my site, what we did, if I go home to the dashboard, let's see, maybe log out, yeah. I made a different homepage that's more for marketing before they log in. So it's very different than when they log in. So this is what they see on the front page before I log in. And then when I log in, I have them go to my dashboard of just their courses.
Gotcha.
So you do have some ways that you can do that. If people aren't complaining at how it is now and they're used to that, you might want to use it the way it is for now, seeing that the themes and everything's going to change pretty soon. Maybe not make too many radical changes too soon.
Well, and that was the one thing when I was talking to Floyd. I mean, I really just wanted to simplify it because, like, right now, the way and like you do too many clicking into layers, and the way I wanted it was just, like when you go there, you just click on something and it takes you right to it versus having to do 2 or 3 clicks. That drives me bonkers.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just really simplifying it and just like things that are empty, I'm like, we're going to take those away because I don't like going to something that's empty. That's annoying.
Yeah.
That's like going to the potato chip bag and somebody's left it in the cupboard empty.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think you're going to be really good at this. Yeah. The next thing is on my agenda, it's a whole changing of thing.
Okay.
And I guess the main thing of that is knowing that you can change the front page, and Floyd, is setting that up. And, here's front page settings too, turn editing on. Now, this is where you could edit things. Like I think Veronica's name was here. You could go to edit settings and you could change this picture. It's like a text box and any of the text.
Okay.
So that, if you had a big announcement or something, here's the tips training news.
So that's sort of like a little shortcut without actually not having to go into like the appearance and themes and.
Yes, yes.
Okay, gotcha.
You have to be on the home page to see that.
Okay.
And what you do here is then it'll say front page settings, edit settings. And then
Gotcha.
all of a sudden, wait, I didn't want to go to edit settings. Turns editing off, I'm sorry. It's a little confusing. When we go here and you're on the front page, turn editing on will give me like the edit things of the actual content up here. Okay. But it won't allow me to change down here, this stuff.
Oh,
that
that's
we had
course
to,
material.
So then we had to go to edit settings. It's been a while since I did this. And here is where we can choose that combo list or course search box, list of categories, and so on.
So you have to specifically do the front page settings, but if you want to do down below, then you have to scroll down and change that other, select the other one.
Yeah, it's a little confusing. Even I got confused. So if we just want to do the top part and like this basic look up here, we can go to turn editing on, and then this edit shows up. And you could add an activity or resource to the front page if you wanted to, like a calendar or something. If this below part is pulling from somewhere and there's no edit here, that we get from the edit settings, and we tell it under here what we want displayed.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a little confusing. That's a really good question. And again, maybe in the beginning, if you see something you want to change, let us know, and then we can help direct you, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's part of the edit, you know, just edit front page, or no, that's edit settings. Yeah. It's a little confusing. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to change directions completely, and I just want to see what Veronica had set up for the advanced communication settings in Moodle. And so that's under Site and then Advanced Features, and you can turn things on and off. And so it's good for you to know what's on, what's off, and if you agree. So the first one is a new one, and it's about enabling outcomes. So now in grading, you can also have outcomes, and you can grade if people met those on a scale or not, like met outcome, partially met, or did not meet. If we check this, teachers do not have to use it. But if it's unchecked, they don't know it's there. It's not a feature that they can use.
Oh, okay.
So I would say check it. You know, some teachers might be innovative and might want to do that.
So it would show up within, like when they're developing the course, and they'd be like, oh, here's something I can use. Okay.
Yeah, when they are in their course settings, they can set up outcomes for the course if they want, and they can tie those to activities, and then it can measure whether the student met those or not. And I don't know that that applies to OSMRE as much. It does apply very much in higher ed now. They don't just want students to graduate with a transcript with grades. They have certain outcomes that they're expecting an accountant will graduate with, and they want them to prove that they have those. And so if you track those all the way back to, well, here on this paper they showed that they could do it, or on this test they could, and you have the outcome and where they proved it, then that's kind of nice for them. It's called NCATE, and they can prove that and get accredited. But yeah, I don't think it would hurt to be on for you guys. And if somebody wanted to use it, it would be there. Comments is good. That means that if a teacher wanted to have comments on the side or on an activity, that students could comment, and they don't have to, but if it's turned off, this means teachers don't have rights to it. Tags functionality. That means you could tag different things and then sort it, like log entries. So, you know, that's always nice for organization.
So it's like a sorting function?
Yeah, like when you do a
Okay.
blog entry, maybe you're going to put the tag on, I don't know, best surface mining techniques. And then if
Okay.
you search under that, all the blog
Oh.
entries that have that tag would show up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's a way of finding content, and people don't have to use it, but if they do, they can sort by tags, and they can have like
Okay.
a tag word cloud if they want, and
Okay.
things like that. Now, notes, I personally on my sites leave it unchecked, and the reason is I think it's easy for teachers to not understand what that is. It allows them to take notes on students. What they often don't know is that the students can see them. So, I might write is chronically late, or assignment or postings have been insufficient. That might help me with the final grade later, but just know that whatever you write in there, it's not private. The student can see.
All students or just that student?
Just that student.
Huh.
So
Well, I
you
wonder, I mean,
You could use it, but you need really good professional development that your teachers know that. Because what it is anecdotal records when you're a teacher. Teachers use
yeah.
that a lot in K-12 and higher ed, and they're used to that being private. So, I taught second and third grade. I would keep a lot of anecdotal notes, like Bobby forgot his gym shoes again on 2-3 and 2-4, and and
Right.
then I could substantiate when I said to the parent, we need a better system of getting that backpack packed with everything he needs for the day. And a defensive parent might be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, then I would have all my notes and say,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
okay, on this date he didn't have them, on this date he didn't have them. But I might not publish that as part of the report card, but I'd have it to protect myself.
Right.
But the way I wrote it was more of a note to myself, not for the
Gotcha.
student to read.
Okay.
So you can leave that checked or unchecked. Do you have a feeling on that?
Well, like I said, I guess I could mention it to them. I've never heard it being an issue, or I don't know. I don't know if like I said, I guess we could turn it off, and if they say, hey, what happened to the notes, we could turn it back on.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. Portfolios, you don't have any right now, but there is a portfolio system that goes with Moodle. It's called Mahara, and people can build portfolios and they talk to each other. It's also sort of like a LinkedIn social networking kind of thing too. So if you're ever interested in that, let me know. But
Okay.
right now you don't have one. Enable web services. Typically this is unchecked because it can take a lot of juice and memory and bandwidth and stuff. It would usually be checked if you have another system that's talking to Moodle, like maybe adding users or something. Do you know if that's the case?
When you say adding users,
Like automatically, like LDAP. Do you have like an Active Directory and Moodle automatically goes and syncs up with it every night and adds any?
no. No, we always manually add people.
Okay. I think I will uncheck then that'll just help your system move faster, if that's
Okay.
okay.
Yes.
Enable messaging system. That means that there's instant messaging, and the teacher doesn't have to turn that on, but they can. Sometimes they like it. I usually put it on in my classes because then if the student sees I'm online, they might shoot me a question quick.
Okay.
Hide read notifications. I don't think you want those hidden. What they do is they show you which things you've read and which ones you haven't. And if you have a forum, that's really nice. They're saying delete all the old ones in 1 week. I think that's good. Notification email override. So this would allow people to give another email that they want all the notifications the course to go to besides the one that's in their profile. So I think that's fine.
Okay.
Statistics is nice. It does take a little more juice, but you get statistics on how many people logged in and how much memory was used and stuff like that. So I'd leave
and that's
that.
you pull for reporting.
Yeah, there are
Okay.
different reports, but statistics are nice. Yeah, I'd leave
Okay.
that. RSS feeds you have enabled, so that means people could have like a blog that has an RSS feed and it could pull from that.
Okay.
Do you want people to have blogs on the site? Right now she has it turned off. Oh, I think we did that because we didn't want her blog showing up right now.
Yeah. And I'm wondering if that's still, I'm not, I don't know now what the situation is on that.
Well, right now it's turned off, so nobody can see them or use them or add a blog entry.
Yeah.
And maybe leave it off, and if you ever change your mind and there's a good use case for it, turn it on.
Yeah, because I'm just wondering, like, for the classes, if they're using blogs for their classes, for the other courses. But
we could turn it on. See.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that. We'll just want to check that Veronica's didn't show up on the front page again. Completion tracking is good to have. We want that. We want the activity default. We want a restriction to us access. You don't have a plagiarism plugin. Oftentimes, like Turnitin or something like that at higher ed they'll use, but you don't have one, so that's fine. Badges is cool, so I would leave that.
Now, what are those? Because I mean, I know Veronica used to talk about them all the time, but nobody used them, so I don't know.
Badges are a cool new trend to add gamification for learning. And people can earn an electronic badge for completing things, and you decide what. So maybe they complete a course, or maybe they turn something in, and they get a badge, and it shows up in their profile, and other people can see it next to their name. Like Tammy has the Moodle user badge or whatever. Yeah.
And who creates these? Like, where do they come from? Do we create them?
The teacher or the site administrator does. Yeah,
Okay.
and you decide what they have to do to get the badge. And people sort of like it. It's motivating. So,
okay.
Yeah, I'd leave that. I think I would leave this as no. We don't want it to slow down your site, and save changes. Okay. Let's just look at the front page and see if anything
I was like, let's check
with
that.
the blog. Yeah, I just want to make sure that, okay, it all looks good.
Where was it showing up, at the bottom, or?
I don't remember. I thought it was on the front page, but it's not showing up, so that's good.
Okay.
All right, so that's good. So that was another thing on my checklist. I just wanted to quickly go over security settings and see what Veronica had set up. I think that's an important one.
Yeah.
It's kind of going from most important on these for setting up. It's not extremely thrilling and something you won't do often.
No, but this is stuff I need to know.
Yeah. And we'll go to site policies. That's what I wanted to look at. So yes, we want usernames protected. I think this is okay that they could see your, what this means is that they can see your front page without logging in, but they can't do anything. They can't get in a course without logging in. And I think
right, and that makes sense, because like they have to, I mean, at that point they might want to just look and see if they want to go any further.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so then we want them to log in to see their profile. I think that's fair. We want them, they can't see any other user pictures unless they're login. We do not want this checked. This is really bad. What that means is that some of your posts could show up in Google, like a Google search. We don't want that ever checked. These are the roles that you're using right now. You're using a teacher, a non-editing teacher, a student, and site admin. There are other things you could do, like a manager, course creator, guest, authenticated user. These were all custom made for Adobe. I think those are good for now. You can make up different roles if you ever want to. Like a course creator would be somebody who creates a course but doesn't have access to the grade book and they don't teach the course.
Okay, and see, that's like when earlier when you were asking about our course creators, I mean, they're actually the ones who create the course and instruct the course.
Yeah. And
yeah, so,
you have a teacher who could grade. A non-editing teacher can grade, but they can't change the content in the course.
okay.
And then you have students. Okay. I think that looks pretty good to start out with. If you ever have somebody who needs permissions that doesn't fit one of those, we can set those up. Okay.
Okay, so I just want to go over this real quick. So the teacher is like they create the course and teach.
Yeah.
Okay, create and teach. And then the non-editing can grade but not change content.
Right, and give comments and stuff, but they cannot change anything. And then the student.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
And then the maximum uploads file size. I would go to the site upload limit because you have quite a bit of room on ours, and you won't. The reason is, like, if somebody wanted to upload a PowerPoint and we set it at 64 and that was too small, they would get an error message and then they'd email you. So let's just set it at the maximum. We can always increase that if we need to.
No, why do you think she had it set at 64?
I don't know.
Okay.
It might have been the default. Although no, the default was 128. I would do it as the maximum.
Okay.
Okay, I think that's fine. I'm always thoroughly. This is good that that's unchecked. Okay, this means that people have 30 minutes to change their posting before anybody sees it. And I find when I teach, that's a good rule to have. You know, you might realize after you posted it, you want to change it before people see it. You can change the time there. Okay,
so it's 30 minutes. Okay.
If you ever had like a site policy URL, like terms of use that you wanted them to read, you could put this in, and on login, they would be forced to look at it.
Okay. It's like a little banner kind of thing, or?
Usually it's a whole page, and usually it's like your acceptable use policy. But you can put the URL of that. All right. We want this one. That one's important. So if they don't do anything in 30 minutes, it looks like they'll have to log in again, which is fine. Your password is set that they have to be 8 characters long, 1 digit, 1 lowercase letter, 1 uppercase letter, 1 non-alphanumeric character. And if you ever wanted to change these, you can put 0 or a different number.
Okay.
But that's what's required when they make up a password. Okay, I think all of that looks good. There's nothing real scary there, so that's good. The next thing I want to look at is your email settings and see how the site is emailing, like different alerts and things.
Okay.
And what that email is. So let's just check that. And we go under that to server, I believe. And networking. Well, when I can't find something, this is another little trick for site admin. You can put under email if you can't remember where it is.
That's a good lesson.
Yeah. So do we want to change this to you? This is, you know, if a badge is given to somebody, this is the email that is given with the badge to ask questions.
Yeah, that would need to be changed.
Okay, so let's put yours in. What is yours again? Is it?
D and then PACULA.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so we'll leave that. It's this one. Is this a real email, no reply?
No, I have no idea what that is.
Okay, so this,
because if that's something that Veronica set up that, you know, maybe she had access to check it. See, I don't have that. I would have to create a new one that I would have access to.
yes.
So currently, that does not exist.
Okay.
I would have to have one created.
Yeah, so why don't you do that and send it to me and I'll put the new one in here.
So I need to have
a no reply address.
Yeah. Or I guess I could check and see if maybe if there's just a general, I mean, I could check and see.
Sure. This is when, that's the from for certain messages when they don't want them replying in Moodle. So maybe they request a new password reset and Moodle sends it out and it's from no reply and they're not allowed to reply, but it has to be able to send. So it does have to be a real one.
Yeah, and I have a feeling that she probably had that created and she probably had the password to it. So I'll probably just get a new one. But I'm just wondering if they might have to change it and make new or no reply one or something, just so I have.
Sure.
Or so I'll get that worked on. But I wanted to make sure where I didn't write down where the email settings was found. I missed that.
I couldn't, these are from all over the place, and there was a specific place that I was looking at, you know, I do remember where it was. I went to the wrong place. It was plugins, but this is a good learning. If you can't find something, you can put in what you're looking for, and anytime that word appears for the site admin to make a decision on, it'll show, so oftentimes it's faster. The place that I really wanted to go into was plugins, and I kept going to server, which was incorrect. Sometimes I just can't remember where everything is. Message outputs, email. That's what I wanted to look at. And I wanted to make sure, for the very reasons we're talking about, that these were real. And so, you know, it pulled this for me when I put in email, but that's the one I was looking for. Yeah, so I will definitely check on that after we get off of our call because I think, and that's on the, and I think even on the front homepage, there was another email address that I need to check on also. Okay, let's see if we can find that one. Let me see, because it's at the very bottom. Oh, it could be in the footer. Yeah, I need to check that one also because I think that Veronica had that created because I have no idea who, I don't maintain that. But I think that's at headquarters. I think headquarters, or maybe, I don't know, I got to check on that one too. I know one thing that she talked about is that these banners were very important and they came from corporate and that she wasn't allowed to change them. And whatever they gave her, she had to do. So that might be true of you too. So yeah, check on that one too. Because I remember, I was like, oh yeah, I got to check on that one. And then, I'm going to look at one other place for email. I know today's is the most boring. They get more fun after this, but this is important stuff for us to look at. I want to look at plugins email one more time. I'll have Floyd look at it with me. I just want to make sure your whole email is working correctly and that they're going to the right ones. But yeah, definitely check on that no reply. That was one part of it. There's one other
Yeah.
part I want to check too. Just going to put ask Floyd. Okay. And then language is another thing. This is just a little stickler with me that drives me kind of crazy. But Moodle was made in Australia, so the default is British English. And so a lot
I
of
did not know that.
if it wasn't changed, everybody's reading it in British English, and that just drives me crazy because we're in the US and we should read US English, I think.
Yeah.
So we can check that under Site Admin under Language, and we can go to Language Packs. Okay, so we do have English US installed, and we do have the British English. And these are all other languages that you can just click and choose.
Okay.
And the user can pick what language they want to see the platform in. Now, the content wouldn't change, but the buttons would. So like instead of language import utility would now be in Spanish if I wanted it.
Okay.
Do you have any languages that you think people would use or would be helpful or not really?
I think I have never had a request for anything other than English.
Okay.
Unless you have Navajo.
Well, they have like 80 plus. Let's see. Nope, they don't have Navajo, I don't think, if I'm spelling it right.
Yeah, because it's pretty much, it's not really a written, it's just a spoken language.
Okay, that would be
So that's
difficult.
typically why, yeah.
And then I want to just check, yeah, so the default for everybody is the US English. Okay, that's good.
Okay.
It just drives me crazy when you see
No, and I had no idea. I wouldn't even, yeah, that's good to know.
And we just have one other thing that I think is important to check out. And I want to check out the backups.
Okay.
And that isn't exactly where I wanted. So again, I'm just going to put it down here. And I can't remember, just put it here. General. Okay, so you have, first of all, what happens, just so you know, is every single night your entire site is backed up on a remote server. So that's the database, the files, everything users did, the software, the content, everything. So we have that every single night, and that's on a different server should our main server ever fail. Okay, you have your own server, by the way, for osmre. Yeah. But then we back it up on a separate one should that ever fail.
Okay.
But then I also recommend course backups, and that's where it makes a separate copy of each course. And the reason is a teacher can easily trash their course or do something they wish they hadn't. And the only way we could get it back when we do the site backups of everything is move everybody back a day, you know, and everybody else would be inconvenienced. All their work would be lost, everything. But if their course, if we had an individual copy of just the course, not the entire site, we can just grab their course and restore just that one course as opposed to blowing back everybody a day. Does that make sense?
Yes. And are these only the courses that are developed on the site?
Yeah, just your courses. Yeah. So right now you have courses backups on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, which is very good. They're supposed to happen at 1:15 in the morning. And those actually happen on your same server, which is fine. And so if a teacher trashed a course, we could go grab it and get yesterday's copy. As opposed to saying, well, we could bring up the whole copy of yesterday of everybody's courses, but they'll lose everything they did today, you know, if that makes sense. So I recommend having both backups. That is set up. That's really good.
Yeah.
Okay, and that is my agenda for today. Any other questions of things for today?
No, I think that's really good. I mean, definitely a lot of information,
Yeah.
but no, I think that definitely gives me a better feel of what's going on there, and I have some homework to do.
Yeah, and I think I
With
would approach this as the 2,000-foot view of what do I have control over? And then
yes,
we can always help you find where it is again. We don't expect you to remember everything. And then I just wanted to see what was turned on, what was turned off today. I'm going to send you 2 manuals that have screenshots of everything that we did. I'm
okay,
going to send you the recording of what we did today.
okay,
Do you want to set up the next training?
yes,
Let me save this just in case. Okay, because I don't think we have a date, do we, for the next one?
no,
Okay, so do you have time next week?
I do.
Okay, what's a good time?
Actually, next week I am available with the exception of Monday and anytime on Tuesday, the 14th after 10 o'clock. And then the rest of the week I'm free.
Okay, how about Wednesday at 1 o'clock? Wait,
Okay.
wait, that's a little, how about Wednesday in the morning? You're in Mountain
Okay.
Time, right? Would 9 be too early?
No, that works.
Okay, all right, I will send you a calendar invite for that. Great.
Okay.
Okay, well, thanks, Dawn. This is great, and I look forward to the next one.
Yes, thank you so much. And I will look into these 2 emails and hopefully I will have an answer by then.
Okay, and also the course developers sent to me.
Yes.
Okay, great. Have a good night.
Thank you so much.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Oh, hey, Melissa. I'm not hearing you yet. I was just finishing up my last webinar, as you probably heard.
Are you there?
Yeah, now I hear you.
Oh, okay. I muted myself. I didn't mean
Oh,
to
sure.
barge in on your call there, and so
No
I had everything
worries.
turned down.
I have back-to-back meetings today. Yeah, it's been a
I
big
am like that. What Thursday? I totally understand.
Yeah.
Screen or the green share screen button down here? Is that what you need?
Yeah,
To do?
yeah. And
Ooh,
then
look at all that.
yeah, sometimes it shows thumbnails of your different screens and you can pick which one.
Yeah, I've got probably a million things.
Yeah,
up right
me
now.
too. That's how I am.
Where is Chrome? I think this is it. Yes.
And then you'll need,
Okay.
there you go. Mm-hmm.
Yippee. All right, so I got to find the right window here. All right, let's start here. We'll start at our home page. And so the first thing to note is that we don't necessarily require people to sign into our Moodle to register for a class. A lot of the instructor-led classes that we offer are actually geared toward our girl members, girls between the ages of, say, 12 and 18. And we don't require them to have a Moodle account. We actually kind of prefer that they don't, because that helps us. It would be just kind of extraneous information when we're looking at adult learning and adult retention to have a lot of girl records in there. So we have access to the solution that we have. In part, the reason we have it is so that people can register for classes without having to have a Moodle account. But I'll start from inside Moodle just because that's what we're here to talk about. And we are currently using a calendar for people to find and sign up for courses. What you're seeing here is an in-person course, the Camp Basics course that we do charge for, and then the Passport Program Seminar would be an online webinar that we don't charge for. So the way they enroll for the class that we don't charge for, we just have a link on the calendar page that takes them to a jot form. And our organization has made much use of jot form for other purposes, and so we're just using a tool that we already had to create a real simple registration. And we're just asking for their name, their email, and then we allow them to choose the date of the thing that they want to sign up for. And that's the case for like Journey to Gold and everything as well. We have some classes, like I mentioned, the classes that are open to girls, and let me show you one of those examples. For example, this one, Journey to Gold, when you go to this form, oh, you can't go to that one because we're full. Let's see. You just put June up, right? So June should be open.
Well, I haven't put it in here yet.
Okay.
We don't have their facilitators listed yet. So maybe go to May.
May, let's see if I can find May here. May.
For their class, they may be full as well.
Nope, we're good. So for this class, they're going to select the class date, and then they're going to enter the name of the girl because this is a class geared toward girls, and you can add more than one participant on this form. So if you wanted to register, if you have a troop of 5 girls who all want to come to this class, you can add all 5 of them on one registration form. And then when the form is completed, it sends an email to us, and that lets us know who is registered. And then we go behind the scenes to do our recording on the other end, and I will show you how we do that as well. So that Journey to Gold class is a good example. What we do is we go and find where we have the course actually living, which is, it's under seniors, right? And it's actually hidden right now because of some other changes that we've made. But we can still access it as admins. And we have in this course this rosters widget, which is actually, as you can see, it's a glossary. And we open up the glossary and we have a date entry for each class. So when we put a new class on the calendar, we add a new entry and we give it the date. The May class that we were just looking at will be under M for May. And then we'll just come in here. If somebody were to register for that class, we would just go and edit that glossary entry and add the person's name and their email address to there. And then when the class takes place, we will check attendance by coming back and either crossing through anybody that didn't actually attend the class or adding on extra names at the end if there are any walk-ins. And so that's kind of how we're doing it now. That's a sample of how we do a non-fee-based class. The fee-based classes are just the same, except that on the jot form that we use for registration, it has a PayPal widget, and so they can calculate if they're going to pay for 10 girls to come to the class, they can do it in one transaction. It calculates that for them. And again, it allows them to register more than one person for the class at a time, and they don't have to have the Moodle account. They can also, we used to try to also.
When you have the 10 girls at a time, does it ask them to put in the name and the email of each girl, or not necessarily?
We do ask for a name and an email just for contact information. Very often, if it's a troop leader, she'll use her own email address for all of the girls she's registering because, I mean, the purpose of that is for us to be able to reach out in case of an emergency or cancellation or whatever. And most of the time, they want us to go to the troop leader because very often the troop leader is really arranging the whole show, if you will.
So they would all use the same username password to get in then?
Right. Well, they don't need a username and password.
Oh, okay.
So if they did this through Moodle, then yes, the troop leader would use her own user account to sign in. Okay. But we also have a link to that jot form registration on our main council website, and I can show you what that looks like. If I can find out where it went. Here it is. So we have an events calendar here. And we have the same course set up. Here's the same Journey to Gold course. So one of our volunteers could come to our website and use this link, and it takes them to that same form. And so all of that happens outside, completely outside of Moodle. And we're really only using Moodle to track the rosters. although volunteers can use Moodle and they can use a calendar in Moodle to do it, they don't have to.
So, Floyd, this might be putting you on the spot, but would the work that we've done with WordPress and the store and WooCommerce work for helping them or not necessarily?
Well, that's where my mind has been
Yeah,
going. So.
you've been very, very quiet. Yeah.
No, I've been watching this, and
Oh, boy.
first of all, let me say, I mean, Keith, you have done an amazing job of picking out things. Really, I mean, it's a lot of work. There's a lot of manual stuff, but you've been very creative with it.
Yeah.
I really, yeah, I'm amazed at what you've done.
Well, thank you. But we just know that somebody can do this better than we can.
Yeah. So yes, there is this sort of an e-commerce software that we have, and we could take a look at that. Before I go too far with that, though, I'd like to see what you're doing with the face-to-face module and how you use that and how that's different from this Jot form that you're using.
Sure. So really, we're just using the face-to-face module right now for some webinars. We don't use it very often because we've had issues with it. We've never really been able to make it work 100% the way we want to. And so we just really use it on a limited basis. Let me see if I can find an example of where I have used it. Oh, I know. When we have volunteers who want to become trainers, we have a special class that we offer for them only about once a quarter, and it's a very limited enrollment, so we've used it there. If I can find it. Okay, so here is a class that we offered last in January, but you can see that we offered it in January and in October, and we've used it in a pretty standard way. The issue that we've had with it is, well, the attendance thing works great. I love that you can just mark that they've attended and be done with it, but we've not ever been able to figure out, oh, that's not the thing that I want. Well, that's complicated, first of all, that you set up the session differently from the whole thing.
Right.
And we found that when often we have a course that we need to offer in different locations. And so in order to offer it in different locations, we've had to duplicate the face-to-face event so that we can change the location. We've also found that it doesn't play nicely with daylight savings time. And and we have a hard time with with all of these messages and things, getting them to be useful and helpful. That was why isn't that why we decided we had to do a separate one for different locations, because the confirmations were saying the wrong location?
Exactly, the standard location that you set up initially when you set up the course.
Right.
Yeah.
And so if we had multiple sessions at different locations, the confirmations wouldn't play nice. And then, shoot, what was the other thing?
Or so the face-to-face page, they couldn't actually see if there was room in the class before they registered for it.
Yes, so they couldn't see if there was room in the class before they paid for it. And there was one other thing. Oh, and if they missed the session and they wanted to re-register for a later session, they couldn't do that. We would have to go in and manually change the session.
Okay. Well, it's actually good to know that that's not being used very much, because that makes our job a little bit easier, I think. So I think what I would want to do is go back and go through this a couple times now that I've seen about this Jot form and how you're using that, and just go through and not actually register for something, but as soon as the form pops up, then I know where I am. Yes, Tammy's suggestion there of going to this e-commerce site is very good. It's going to involve having a separate website. I forget now, what are you doing for a website? Is that controlled by someone else, or you control your own?
Well,
GS
yes and no.
Okay, is it gsgatl.org? No.
GirlScoutsATL.org. Oh, not that one. I think. Oh, no.
GirlScoutsATL.org. There we go.
Yeah.
And let me inspect this a little bit. Ooh.
It's something fancy, Adobe related. I don't have much to do with the running of, I have nothing to do with the running of the website. And in fact, we're constrained by the tool that's been given to us by GSUSA to run the website. So it's this Adobe platform,
Okay.
which restricts kind of what we can do and not do with it. And I don't even know because that's not my job.
Yeah, I'm just going down through here a little bit to see.
Would it be possible, Floyd, to link a store onto it?
Oh, sure.
We've
Oh,
done that
absolutely.
with other platforms.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was trying to see if they were somehow linking in WordPress or something. I'm looking at the source code here. I don't see anything about WordPress. Yeah. Okay. So that means that we don't directly go to this site. But what we can do, and well, let me back up. What I want to avoid is that where the people would have to go to 3 different places.
And we totally want to avoid that too.
Yeah,
I don't
like
know.
Girl Scouts ATL, and then you go to your e-commerce site, and then you go to Moodle.
Yeah. We already have this lovely page here, which is all the different systems we already ask our volunteers to sign into. Yeah.
Right. So,
but maybe to clarify, Floyd, with other clients who have had a different website, we just made like a tab on their menu for checking out. And that's where the store is. And they don't really know. I mean, the URL has changed, but they don't really know
but they don't see it.
And then there's links back to the original site, and they think it's all part together.
Right. And if we use the Edwiser Bridge stuff, you can click, so you can go to the store. And I hate to call it a store in your case, but let's just say your registration site where you would have all your courses and your options. And then everything would be contained in there. And when you click on a link to the course, you would go to Moodle, but it's single sign-on. So you would just pop right into Moodle, and they don't even know that they've gone to Moodle, to a separate site. Okay. So that might be one way to look at this. I'd want to think a little bit about, can you register with,
Would it be like a guest login that you don't have to go through the Moodle login? Or I might not be understanding what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if we can do this in the e-commerce site without being registered. So you have these guest users who can register. So those are ideas off the top of my head. I would, if you want us to move ahead with some work on this, I would like some time to think about it and look at some options, and maybe get back to you with some ideas, and then you would say, oh, this looks good, pursue that some more.
Mm-hmm. Well, what would we be talking about? I'll be honest with you, my budget for this year for customization or support or reporting or whatever is it's good through the end of September, and I'll be honest, I've got about $4,000. A little less than that, maybe like 39 something. Maybe 3,900.
Yeah.
But again, our budgeting cycle is coming up. So if it's something that would be, significantly more than that, maybe we can look at it for next year. Tell me what we're talking about. Am I totally out of the ballpark here?
Well, Floyd and I would need to talk more. A standard e-commerce site where there isn't so many special things going on is about $2,100. And I just think that he and I need to talk about what he almost has to rewatch this video and come up with like a workflow plan and see if we can even get it to work, right, Floyd? And then know how many hours that would be, because you do have some special stuff. And whether that'll be under 4,000 or not, we couldn't tell you right this second. It seems possible because the standard with no changes is 2,100. But I don't want to say that till Floyd's done some work. So I'm okay to eat the time for Floyd to work on this and like map it out and see if it's possible and come back with a quote. And then we can tell you if it's, you know, what we think it'll be and if it's above or below. And then you don't have to go any further if it's above or, you know, and you can decide from there. But I think as of today, you threw some wrenches in there and it's a little complicated. So I don't know how much time that takes or if it's possible even. Because usually they just purchase the course, right? And then they're off to the races. But yours is a little different.
Yeah, and we tried using just the standard PayPal plugin from Moodle and using that with the face-to-face, and the issue we had there is people would pay for the course, but then they wouldn't sign up for the session.
Yeah.
And that was really hard to manage. That caused a lot of confusion. So yeah, that's kind of where we are now. Tammy, you mentioned something earlier, Totara. How is that overkill for what we're talking about, or is that in the realm of possibility, or what?
That's a really great question. Maybe Floyd and I could talk about it more. I'll send you a feature list of what it does. Totara is based on Moodle. It was made for corporations. It's both an HR system and an LMS. But sometimes in special use cases, I use it with clients for special things. So they do have a face-to-face, it's called My Bookings, that's built right into the platform. And it talks to everything else, and it shows up on the user's calendar, and it's on their homepage and all of that. I still think you have issues with it when you get to paying. That doesn't solve the payment issues. And there's a lot of stuff it does. It's really good for certifications. It's really good for reporting. I think it might be a bit overkill unless there's a killer reason to use it. But now that I see how you're using the face-to-face, I think we could just get rid of that and come up with a better seamless solution. And then Totara would be overkill, I think.
Okay, well, I'm open to whatever is going to do the job for the least amount of cash, because, you know, we're Girl Scouts, right?
Yeah.
We need to use our resources wisely. So I don't want to throw another wrench at you, but, you know, since we're talking about ideals, I will say that one solution that we have not found yet within Moodle or within any of this is a lot of our courses are actually taught by volunteers. And so we have a group of volunteers who have access to Moodle and who use it for different things. But when it comes to signing up to teach a particular class at a particular time, we've never really found a good solution for that. And mostly that's because, like I said, the face-to-face doesn't really allow you to sign up for multiple sessions or to repeat sessions. But that is something so we're using a totally different thing for that. We're using Sign Up Genius for that. And again, it's just one extra step for our volunteers and for us to go through to make sure everything is in order to hold the class. So I don't know if that is throwing too much of a wrench into what we've just talked about, or if that's something you could think about as well.
So go through that again. So the issue there is that you have a volunteer who wants to teach a course or take a course?
Teach a course. So, for example, the Journey to Gold course that I was showing you guys, we have a handful of volunteers who teach that, and we offer the course every month. So to have a volunteer sign up maybe to do the May course and the June course, and then again in September, that's not something we've been able to do with face-to-face because it doesn't allow that repeat or multiple sessions. And so while we're holding that totally separately now. We're just using a Sign Up Genius, and then we don't even keep those records necessarily in LARC as to who taught the course.
Mhm. Yeah, we might be able to do something with that. If we go down this road of looking at an e-commerce solution, there are just a lot of options open, because what you're doing is, in essence, selling courses, and we can quote, I want to say quote because, it's a little different, but we can sell courses without a charge, or you can put a charge on it, or you can give discounts. So I would think, I'm just, again, going off the top of my head a little, but let's say your form has a checkbox where you say, I want to be a teacher. Yeah, I think, trying to think how we send that over to Moodle and say, enroll this person as a teacher. But that's not too far off base, at least what I'm thinking of now. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yay. We like that too.
Okay.
Keith, am I missing anything? Any other problems of the world we're going to solve this afternoon?
Everything right now. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, does that give you guys enough to get started with?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. You probably won't hear back from us this week. Just FYI, because Floyd's got a few other projects he's finishing up.
That's fine. I probably wouldn't have time to look at anything this week anyway. You guys caught my last free open spot on my calendar, I think.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Great. Well, thanks for taking the time out to do this and considering us, and we'll see what we come up with.
Oh, thank you guys. I really appreciate your willingness to help us out and help us find the right solution. So thanks so much.
Sure. Have a good rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Okay, good.
You too. Thanks.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.